Hello and welcome to this Chessodoro game review. This was a 3+2 blitz game between student rated around 1900 fide and opponent playing as black is a GM rated around 2200. So my advice would be send more games at longer time controls here, because from blitz we can learn only just a couple of key moments, I think, and from longer games we can learn much more. Okay, so also you write to me, I think this game was quite easy and more or less strategically justified. Also in the opening I didn't play any strategic lines because I didn't have any advantage, but I think it helped me not to lose the game and win when my opponent was short on time. Well, we'll see. Well, blitz's time is of course one of the main factors in the game, so we'll see what happened. Game started e4, student playing white, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, cd, knight d4. So we have an open Sicilian, knight f6, knight c3, and black is playing rouser variation. And you go for the main move, bishop g5, e6, black responds also with the main move. Other sidelines are this bishop d7 as far as I know, and maybe g6. So, but e6 of course is pure rouser, and you play this interesting sideline, bishop b5. Well, I know that the theory is queen d2, and also I've seen even this queen d3 variation, a very interesting alternative maybe to surprise black. I've seen this from a Sathuraman Sicilian course, or I think it was a course e4 repertoire for white, something like that. So this queen d3 idea is after long castles we leave this option for the queen to go to the g3 sometimes. So okay, but you chose bishop b5, bishop d7, and you went for just short castle, which is like positional way of playing, simpler way for blitz. But the idea of bishop b5 as far as I know is to go for this instead of short castle, to go for this capture. We kind of eliminate that knight to go along castles anyway, to kind of reduce maybe this attacker, eliminate this attacker, and something like this with sharp play. So okay, but instead you went castle short, h6, bishop h4, maybe bishop e3 is solid as well, bishop e7, rook e1, castles, you took the knight. Well, so position is around equal here, I would say. b3, black is fine, but anyone's game still. So and black made a mistake here, queen a5. So, and this was a key moment. You both missed this opportunity. So if players want to pause the video here and find a good way for white to gain an advantage. And the right idea, in the game you played queen d3, but the right idea, you see, weakness of the last move. So queen moved here. That means this bishop is kind of less defended, So the key idea was e5, very nice move. And after capturing, we capture the bishop. They capture, of course, our knight is also hanging, So if we take here, we might take the knight, but we move the knight here. And this gives big advantage to white now, because this is hanging, and he cannot easily move the bishop, so he has to protect this guy. And we destroy kingside with a winning attack for white, I would say. Rook is coming, queen is coming, we are not even material down, so we have attack for free here. So queen d3 you played instead, you both missed this. But now he went another dubious move. So he had to play something like g5, but it's not easy to play such a move. And then close down the position and play for more like outpost, in a closed position, something like this. So, but he went e5, which has a downside, Maybe he misevaluated your next move, which was excellent. Bishop takes f6. Suddenly this d6 pawn is hanging, after bishop f6, so he definitely doesn't want to take like this. It would weaken his kingside, but maybe he should have, since he's losing a pawn, So then you probably go rook e3, and attack. So bishop f6, queen d6, yeah, grabbing this pawn. Maybe he missed that bishop is hanging. I don't know what happened, since this was a blitz game, yeah. So rook fd8, and you're not afraid of any discoveries because there isn't any. You just play knight a4, gaining the c5 square for the queen. And black maybe has some little compensation with bishop here, but they are not playing at the moment, so I don't think this is enough. Yeah, he, especially since he made this passive move, he went immediately to exchange queens, which is a great idea. Yeah, when we're winning in material, he declined it, of course, and bringing the last piece into the game. Excellent. And I don't see any compensation, yeah, because black's bishops are not active. They should be compensating with active play, yeah, with bishops. So now you're starting to even exchange everything. Queen was attacked, so you go back, activate the bishop, starting to exchange all the heavy pieces. Excellent strategy. Keeping exchanges going. And he tried to activate the bishop here. Instead, he maybe had this opportunity. Later he did it in the game anyway, but something like this to activate the bishops. But still, white is the one playing for two results, yeah? Either we will win this or somehow black survives. So we're a pawn up. Excellent chances to win here. So bishop g6. And here I think you played knight c3, which was fine. Maybe we could prevent this queen d4 even with c3 and something like this. Yeah, maybe continue improving the pieces. Maybe we'll exchange queens. So but he went back with the knight, so he played queen d4, which is a nice try to gain some activity at least. But I think you handled it well here. Still, some pawn exchanges happened. Still pawn up, yeah, but at least black bishop started playing, yeah, so he had gained some practical chances to maybe do something in this game. But here another critical moment, I think. f3, this was a mistake. You kind of throw away their advantage, but remember, this is a blitz game, yeah, so cannot be too harsh. But the right idea, maybe you want to pause the video and find the right move, yeah? How to continue this strategy of converting. Okay, and the right move was, since this is kind of a bit hanging here, maybe the knight will be kicked. The right move was just keep exchanging, yeah? Follow the same strategy, keep exchanging. Cannot really go bishop d5, yeah, since he is losing probably a pawn like this and more. So black will have to exchange and lose the bishop pair, so excellent chances to win here for white. Instead you went f3, and now he didn't miss this. He went into suddenly an opposite color bishop endgame, yeah, which should be draw. Actually, it's a drawish endgame. Even if you're pawn up, black has excellent chances to draw this. So you both brought the king up and defended some pawns, kind of maneuvered a bit, yeah, with the bishop, since this is blitz, so moves are flowing. And I think black a bit went too crazy with this king infiltrating here. He should have just stayed here with the king, kind of holding the position. He went a bit too nuts, yeah, in this with the king infiltrating, and gave you some chances to win. So you also attacked his pawns. And now big mistake for black was this king b2, yeah. He's going a bit too active. He's a pawn down, and I don't know what he's trying to do, yeah. Win the game being pawn down. So king b2 was a big mistake. He should have just defended this pawn and went after this. So maybe after c2 now, yeah, was the right idea, because king b2 allowed this was a critical moment in the game, and you both missed the winning opportunity. You played king takes a5, but I think very hard move to spot for both of you in the blitz game, especially probably down to seconds in this position, yeah. So this was a4 move, and now he cannot allow us to take this a5 pawn, since this will be a big passer and would win the game probably. So black would have to go protect this pawn, but now very hard move to spot. We are kind of indirectly defending c2, so he cannot really take it because our other pawn will go through. Yeah, very interesting. So bishop b4 has to be played, and suddenly after this move black is some sort of zugzwang. Yeah, if he moves the bishop we might go after some pawns, otherwise he cannot take this pawn, always e5. So what does he do? If he moves the bishop or the king, we go c3 probably at some point. Yeah, so this is kind of almost zugzwang situation, but very hard to spot this move a4 in the game, especially blitz. So he went natural king a5, but here was the critical moment again for black not to lose the game, and he chose the wrong capture. So maybe players want to pause here and decide which move is better, king takes a2 or king c2. Yeah, pause the video. And black chose the wrong move. King c2 was the wrong move. King a2 was surprisingly draw. Why king c2 was a bad one? Basically he leaves our passed pawn, a passed pawn, yeah, which decides the game later. I think logically speaking black was afraid of this b4 move. Probably yes, he was scared of this, but surprisingly black survives to a draw. So maybe he kind of immediately rejected this move. Yeah, remember blitz game, low on time, so maybe rejected because of b4. He thought he was losing and took the c pawn instead, but actually taking a2 is draw. Let's see some variations. b4, king b2, and now if white goes immediately trying to queen, then black has enough counterplay to draw. This bishop is just in time to stop this pawn if necessary, and king will be going after these pawns, so this is enough to draw the game. If instead of pushing the b pawn we take here, then surprisingly black survives by bringing the king back and again attacking this counterattack. Bishop maneuvers nicely to protect, and again king is active enough. Yeah, even if we defend, king is kind of going back and stopping this pawn. So, but very hard to spot. A very tough decision in the game. I wouldn't call this a blunder, just a mistake. Yeah, very hard to choose between what pawn to take. So king c2 was played, but this was losing after king b5. Now you have this a pass pawn which decides the game. So let's quickly skip through the moves. Of course black is trying to go after some counterplay, go after your pawns, but it's not enough. Try desperate measures like giving away the pawn, opening that diagonal, but now excellent move from you, not allowing to take some pawns. Yeah, defending nicely here. You did the same basically idea as black, opening the bishop, and now your pawns are unstoppable. So these pawns are rolling, king is coming, and bishop gains some protection, and you roll the pawns and you win the game here. Very nice. Final move was this. Okay, so very cool endgame. I would say that was the key moment of this game, this opposite color bishop endgame, where black played a bit too actively, yeah, invaded, and then got a big decision to make, which he chose the wrong move. So very interesting endgame at the end. Also, I'll include some opposite color bishops and endgame bootcamp. Yeah, very excellent resource on YouTube, so you can check more about these opposite color bishops. And let's summarize the game. Yeah, so interesting opening with 7 bishop b5, this move. Okay, and then you kind of played positionally more, yeah, but you could also go for this capture queen f3 long castles idea as well in future games. Black made a mistake on the 13th move, so this queen a5 was a mistake and critical moment where you missed both this e5 tactic, very cool one. But then he made another inaccuracy, kind of giving you away the pawn, this d6 pawn. Yeah, after this which allowed you to be pawn up for a long time in the game. Okay, what was the next point? Was this f3 mistake? Yeah, okay. So this f3, instead you had opportunity to convert by exchanging with this bishop d3, excellent move. And black managed to reach this opposite color bishop endgame, yeah, drawish endgame, but went a bit too active with this 43 move, yeah, king b2, a bit crazy. He went in and had a big decision to make here, where he chose the wrong move, king c2, yeah, which allowed you to win. I'm sure he was aware of this move and thought this was losing, so that's why it happened. But very hard to see when low on time, yeah, how you are stopping this kind of discover check and pushing the pawn. But actually, as we've seen, yeah, black manages to get enough counterplay, maybe sacrifice a bishop and gain these pawns, yeah, so makes a draw actually. Okay, very interesting game. Yeah, usually opposite color bishops are draw, but here it was a different matter. So thanks for this game. Please send me longer time controls, yeah, and thanks for watching, and goodbye.